that every single game started to show. I don't really intend on doing that kind of stuff anymore. Any game I take a look at, I look to see, does it do genre? If it's going to claim to be this genre, it needs to have this preset before it can go through. And let me tell you something. There are quite a few genres that have gone what they should be. And honestly, Genshin Impact is a step up from the fact that it's shown to be gamers. It's just that the gamers that are considering themselves regular gamers are just doing what gamers do. Bitch and whine about stupid things.
And that's where I'm gonna interrupt you, Neko. I saw a YouTuber today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna cut Neko off a little bit, but you know how I do.
Oh, I was done on that part.
Yeah, this guy, I'm not gonna start his video or his fucking ad. Well, apparently there we go. But, Yoda of Soda. What a hell of a name. Yes, he has way more subscribers than me. But I'm sure with me posting a Genshin Impact, I'm gonna get a good amount. So there you go. I might catch up to him in a day.
Your account's gonna blow up. While mine's just sitting, not even at 30 subscribers, and I've been posting shit.
Yeah, but I've told you how to get yours up. But so
I honestly don't even remember.
One of his big complaints was this item right here. The Spirit Locket of Boris. Now,
Boreas?
Yeah, yes, you need this to level up your talents. And yes, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you're gonna get the item. But it does seem like...
That's generous.
Yeah, and it does seem like you're guaranteed because first boss, since I hit AR-40, I get it. I get one of the 3 items. So, unless someone can just send me a screenshot of them being AR-40 plus, and you not getting this, right now my theory is you're gonna get it at AR-40. At least one of the items. Now, he complained that it's horrible drop rates. And notice I did get 2 5 stars right there. I'll check them out later. I've been getting too many 5 stars at AR-40 to be complaining about anything. But
it's me and the party. I'm giving him luck.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get Diluc and you have not gotten Diluc yet, go cut off Neko's leg and just carry it with you and do a roll and you'll get it.
Hell no. Hell no. Just because my luck on this shit is godlike when it comes down to it.
He pulled 2 Ventis and a fucking 4-star in a 110 roll.
Yeah, in a single... Give me my pity venti, and then a second venti, and then I think it was a lion's roar? That.
I can't remember.
In one shot. And it was like, part of me is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get his first constellation. The other part of me is like, a second 5-star, and you gave me another venti. The fuck's wrong with you?
You could have given me anything, while everyone else is like, I would love to get a venti.
I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining about getting 2 ventis all that much. It just seems like there could have been something else there. And it's always going to haunt me what it could have been.
What it could have been. Is that going to be your next album?
What it could have been?
Yeah.
God, that sounds like a sad country album.
Well, you are a country album.
But hell no.
back to the fucking problem at hand.
Yeah.
People are complaining about the stupidest shit, considering they don't understand how grinding games used to be. They be complaining, oh, this is hard, this is too difficult to get this item. Bitch, please. Neko, start naming off fucking all the fucking different games that were harder.
Literally anything that was around from like generations of like late PS2 to earlier, of anything that had to do with MMOs or just RPGs in general. Didn't even have to be online MMOs. RPGs back then sit there and had worse drop rates than this. Like a 1 in 3 chance at getting something that you need in order to level up your talents and all that. That is generous. Even on a mobile game level, that is generous. And the part that gets me is when people talk about the fact of, oh, the drop rates are terrible in this game. I've played MMOs that had way better. Well, no, because this isn't an MMO. This is not an MMO game. An MMO means you are running around the open world with like thousands of other players in the same map. That's not an MMO. That's a single-player free-to-play game that has co-op capabilities and has a gacha mechanic in it. And the RPG mechanics in there are about the type of drop rates you would expect from a modern-day RPG. They're generous compared to what they used to be. Like old Diablo-type fucking drop rates, let me tell you. But yeah.
You're bringing old Diablo into this.
I'm talking old Diablo 1 on PC. Fucking drop rates were shit. On at least my luck was absolute shit trying to play that game solo.
Your luck on drop rates are terrible.
Yeah. I am infamous for having shit drop rates, but gacha mechanics and loot boxes, oh, I have the luck of the gods. I'll spend $5 and get more money value of items out of a bundle drop than someone will make spending $20 on one thing and still not even fucking get it.
Yeah, you're the kind of guy that the companies be like, oh shit, it's this guy again. Fuck. What do we do? What do we do? Like,
yeah. And I mean, the day it launched, wasn't it like the day it launched or the day after when they gave out in the mailbox a free 10 stack of Prima Gems, and I opened up a Venti banner, Diluc drops right there. Early, extremely early game, I get a Diluc right off the bat. It's like, oh, okay, I'll take that. Only to find out that's like one of the characters everybody fucking wants.
Yeah, some people are spending, I saw one YouTuber, he had spent $1,200 to get a Diluc.
Like, I can understand if people are spending that amount of money and they're trying to get, like, a fully leveled up Diluc in his constellations and all that. I can understand that. But if someone's going to spend that much money and they only get one Diluc drop out of that whole thing, ooh. Stick to just playing the game and not spending money, because at that point you are losing. You are in the losing end of a gambling battle, my friend. But I have not had a problem with the drop rates in the game. Like, and I know that I know later game it becomes a very important thing when you absolutely need certain things. I understand that. But people need to understand that the difference between the drop rates they're presenting here, the drop rates that they have for the 5-star characters in the gachas are better rates than some of the drop rates you get in, just look at any classic MMO, for example. Because your chances drop immensely when you go to that type of era. Because it's not only a factor of whether or not the big enemy or whatever will drop the item that you're wanting. It has to have a chance of it even dropping one of those type of items. Then it has to be a chance that it's the item you need and or want. And then there's the fucking chance that someone's going to snag that shit before you. Because, yeah, loot wasn't instant back then. It was everyone fend for themselves. If you weren't fast on the mouse button, on the hitting the pickup button and clicking the mouse at the same fucking time to snatch as much fucking items as you could, you're done. You ain't getting shit. Unless you can level up high enough to solo the boss, and even at that point, there's no point in getting the weapon because it's useless. It's not going to do you any good. Except for maybe putting it up on the market. And all I can say is, and with the way that Genshin Impact is going, I don't see there being like a marketplace thing for players to sell shit, because that would be stupid and broken as hell. Because they will probably make it into something like either those crystals that you convert into Primogems or Primogems, or maybe they'll make it Stardust. But even then, that's just going to put more incentive of people to dump cash into it, and it'd be pointless in the end of doing that anyways. But
like, it's a bunch of complaining about very simple and stupid shit. Like, we already talked about this before we started, but people complaining about the simple fact of, like, the simple fact that the game is, one, grindy, that's part of its mechanic of trying to slow you the fuck down. Slow down. The game's not all the way out yet.
That's another thing. The game came out. I understand. People are happy and excited. And I understand that maybe the company kind of underestimated the fact that their mobile game was going to be that extremely popular on consoles, that players were going to play the fuck out of it day and night to the point to where they power through everything. And then they want to bitch and whine about content. And then if it's not that, then they complain about, oh, I can't hit the end level because there's not enough content to level me up fast. You weren't supposed to get all the way through that shit that fast. You're supposed to go around, explore, do some other shit. You know, don't play it non-stop 24/7. That's not what the game is built to be. It's not what it's for.
I will say that this quest is very hard.
What quest?
It's a daily quest, and leaves on the wind. And I have to find 3 leaves.
Can't you use your elemental to look?
I am looking, but I'm under the big tree, so there's a bunch of leaves blending in with the leaves that I'm needing to find. Like it's trying to find the needle in a haystack.
It's very specific.
Where's the leaves? But
but to go back to it, the game was built to be played like a few hours, enough to get, obviously you're gonna pick a day to sit there and get like all your weekly stuff done and over with, all the grinds of the bosses and all that, make absolute use of your resins and all that shit. But all the other times, it's literally just get on, do your dailies, do some other shit, maybe craft some things, send people out on expeditions, top up on stuff, little things like that, and then move on to another game. That's how mobile games work. That's why everything is feeling like such a grindy thing. Because you're trying to force progression.
It's not only on mobile, it's on PlayStation,
That still doesn't take away from the fact that it is from a mobile game developer. MiHoYo is a mobile game developer. You know what other games they developed? Girls Frontline, Arc Knight, Honkai Impact Third. That's from them as well. Those are all gacha games. And those are all games that are different varying types of playstyles. But they all hold the same thing. They're all mobile games built to be that you play this for a little bit, to go through some things, and then you stop. You take a break. You let it go, sit in the background, whatever, you put it away, and you move on to the next one. The purpose is not to play it nonstop like it's a brand new MMO, because it's not an MMO. You're looking for content in the style of and asking for things in the style-esque of a modern-day MMO genre when the game's not even that genre. And I could go on a rant on MMOs nowadays. I won't subject you people to that.
Oh, let's go down that road, because not not a lot of people are actually talking about the issue at hand, which is the community. I honestly say is the biggest issue that this game has, especially the YouTubers, because they keep on saying, "Oh, it dries up towards the end. There's no content." Well, that's because you fucking refilled every day.
If when you're someone who can afford to refill your shit, the shit that you're supposed to just sit down and wait to refill, the amount of hours, I think we did the math, to refill your resin all the way, if it's at 120, takes 16 hours at the rate that it recharges. 16 hours of not touching anything that has to do with resin. You could still play the game. You just don't touch anything with resin, and you will have your 120 back. It takes 16 hours. And when you throw money at it, you can sit there and you steamroll your way through stuff. You know, of course it's going to get stale. Of course it's going to get dry. You're acting like this is supposed to be a game that's supposed to this is supposed to be one of those games that has 120 guaranteed hours of gameplay content, of main quests, side quests, and all these things you can do. It's not.
It's not what fully out of development yet.
It's like, I think it's technically released, but they're still trying to put a lot more stuff out there. You can look up online. They have a lot of stuff that's been going on. Alpha and beta, new characters, new areas, a lot of stuff. The content is coming, but people have become so bitchy and whiny and, well, no, not bitchy and whiny, privileged on the idea that if they complain and cry about it enough, that the content will come at their leisure and not when the company's ready to launch it. We know what happens to game companies when they start listening to the feedback of players. The game goes downhill fast. And when I say that, I'm talking about the majority of players, not the small percentage that when they do feedback, it actually is, honest to God, good feedback. It makes sense, and it probably would fix the game. But that gets buried underneath shit upon shit upon shit.
Like they're
crying and whining.
There was one where people were, someone asked for when you send your characters on an expedition, that it literally, once you send them out on an expedition, you get you can still use those characters. Like, even though they're on an expedition in another continent doing something else, you can use them to do your missions.
Like,
and
I can understand the person wanting that, and I understand that in a lot of cases that's immersion breaking. But I would also have to say, especially with one very specific character being one of the characters that is really good on expeditions, but is also really good at playing as.
Venti.
I. Oh no, I was talking about Fischl.
I know. Fuck you. Venti doesn't have any bonuses. I don't think.
No, no, he doesn't. Bennett and Fischl so far are the only ones that I've gotten that do have a drop bonus, that have a reduced time rate for that, and yeah, that would be cool to have that mechanic. I'll perfectly understand if they decide not to do any of that, for immersion reasons and probably
Oh, they
other
already
reasons
said
as
they're
well.
going to do it.
Oh, they're gonna do it.
Yeah. But
That's
Shong
interesting.
Yun also has decrease on time, and Kikwing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we mispronounce any of these names, we're not Chinese. Fuck off. I'm just getting that out of the way. But, like, there's a lot of complaints about the simplest things. And people going out and making videos saying, oh, this is why the game's gonna die. This is why all these players are leaving. They still made $100 million in the first 2 weeks. Over $100 million. They had over 100 million downloads on Android and iPhone alone. So if you think, oh, the game's gonna die, no. All these
It's not gonna die.
people that are leaving, it's not gonna do anything. You're still gonna get your 7 to 8 nations, and when I say 7 to 8 nations, I do believe there is one of them might be destroyed or something. But if you take cross-referencing the books and everything, there is actually an 8th nation we don't know much about. I could go back in my notes and check the name of it, but that's basically the name is all we know. And even if I had the name right in front of me, I could not pronounce that to save my life. You can kiss that, like, no.
Oh, just a quick side note, Dark. Halloween event on Warframe's going on as well.
Warframe?
Yeah. Get some interesting stuff.
Nah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just gonna say I am curious if there are characters that they have yet designed and what they're gonna be, or a bigger question is if they're gonna add a new weapon type and a batch of heroes to go with it.
Well, if you go look at the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it is theorized that a new weapon type will be coming, and it's supposed to be fist, melee type. Well,
Mm.
melee as in no weapons and shit. But I don't
Yeah,
know how that would
martial
work.
arts.
Yeah, martial artists. Well, it could be
I
classified
have
swordsmanship. That's,
I have ideas already. I can definitely tell that one of the characters is most likely going to be like, to put it as blunt and plain as possible, a fucking Goku ripoff. Just
eh,
straight up.
eh. I mean, we already have Sharingan from Naruto.
Like, I could see the R2, the element skill going to be like a key blast charge thing, and then their fucking elemental burst is going to be like super mode to where their defense and attack are both like super boosted.
Yeah. Now,
Like
to
I
all
could
you
see a character
motherfuckers out
doing that.
there saying, well, fuck you, you have Diluc and Kikqueen. I also have Fischl, which if I'm saying it wrong to your personal preference, cry about it. I also have her max constellation. So, fuck you.
Yeah, because she like dropped like every fucking time for you.
Now, it was for a while. It was at the last bit that she actually started dropping for me. Now, another one that people are probably like, wait, you have a max constellation of her? Yes, Cookie Girl I have a max constellation of, and you know, I probably should do a little bit more work on her since she's only level 40. I also have a Barbara at level 3. Pretty good
I'm
drop,
just
I
gonna say
guess.
that I'm just gonna say this: if you don't have a Barbara at this point, there's something wrong.
Eh, yeah.
Especially since they gave everyone a Barbara for free.
There's some people that are just very unlucky
Hmm.
that have her constellation up, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am not a god to where I can just get multiple fucking pools of Diluc. I got one random one out of the uh, which I think it was the normal ban or Venti banner that I got Diluc out of as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if
Uh,
you're having trouble getting characters, don't worry about it that much because the new banner is supposed to have a huge bonus.
apparently people were complaining too much about the fact that the bonus rate of getting a Venti, the Venti banner, was too terrible, it even though it was double the rate of any standard 5-star, and it even had a pity to where if you pulled a 5-star out of the Venti banner and it wasn't Venti, the second time you pulled a 5-star, it was going to be guaranteed Venti no matter what. And then comes me, where I pull 2 Ventis and a 4-star. And it kind of irritated. It was awesome, but still irritated me at the same time.
Well, doesn't everything irritate you?
To an extent, yes. More on the incompetence, on the mentality of people who claim that they know life this style of game or these type games, and yet they ask the dumbest of questions about why do they have to have these mechanics in the game. It's like, it wouldn't be that type of game if it didn't have those mechanics. You should know this. You've played how many of them?
Yeah. It's not too windy, is it?
That's why. That's why half the time I don't listen to the people who do like reviews on games. Hell, there are people that sit there and say, "Oh, what you're probably doing wrong in Genshin Impact because of this, this, and that you should have never spent any of those free fates on anything because this, and this reason." Why? Because the banner was going to end at some point, and and they're going to say, "Oh, you should have saved them for the new one." Why? So you could later on drop a video that's going to be clickbaity as hell, saying, "Oh, you should have done this. You should have waited." Yeah. Fuck off. It's not a lot of these YouTubers doing this shit of trying to tell people how to do stuff is either no shit common sense tips, or it's just clickbait bullshit.
I will say that I did watch a video yesterday because I was you know I've already gathered every single fucking chest on the map, so I was like, hey, maybe this MTash guy, even though he thinks fucking blue tier nectar doesn't drop off enemies. He doesn't think it drops in the world. Maybe he has a few chests on here that I haven't found already. Nope, I found that one, and then someone in the comments was like, oh, what about this chest on the branch at such and such? And I was like, what branch? You need to be a little bit more specific. But luckily, I was looking around over there and just jumping on every branch, and then I found it.
Mm-hmm.
Took me about like fucking 10 minutes to go through all the branches. And it wasn't really a branch, it was a tree trunk sticking out of the water. I guess you could call that a branch, but you know, so even his own people who watch his videos are not that bright.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm talking about the big O YouTuber with 500 something subs, while I'm a little YouTuber with little amount of subs. Really? Really? This dude does not understand the concept of this game. He's posting videos where he's just dropping hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on rolls, and then he'll turn around and talk about, oh, this is a problem in the game. This is bad. The resin system, I'm not going to fully defend the resin system because, yes, the resin system has a slight issue.
I'm guessing it's a little too limiting.
Well, it's not really that. Honestly, I think the amount of XP you get from daily commissions should go up with your world level.
Ah.
But that's just a thing from my point of view. Also, I don't like the 8. I don't like that you have to wait 8 minutes for 5 resin. Just because 8 minutes is a weird number for me when it comes to these energy things. I would prefer it to be 5 or 10 minutes. And yes, that might sound like a fucking douchebag of me to say, oh, let's raise it up to 10 minutes. It's just, I don't like the 8. I prefer
It's a
numbers of
numbers
5.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a numbers thing.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
And I don't like the cap being at 120. I would like the amount of energy that you can build up is 150.
Would you have preferred it if basically as you went up in world level that the amount of max resin went up with it?
Yeah, and the amount of energy or resin that you produce goes up with you. That would have made perfect sense to me. I would be like, oh, that's perfectly fair. People at the beginning don't need that much XP to level up, while people in the 40s, it's a lot.
And isn't the max rank like 50 or 60?
I think as of right now 60, but I do not know exactly. I don't know if I'm going to see more as I get farther, or what. But I think it's 60.
Okay.
So.
Because, yeah. Ugh. I think that would be a definite good change up is to make it so that the amount of resin, I would say, give it like, increase it by like 30 every world level.
I could sit with that.
I mean, it keep it in a balanced things, because I don't know what the max world level is, but I'm sure it'll probably stop somewhere along the lines of like 300 or something like that, a flat 300.
Well, like, there's a lot of issues. And yes, I'm just doing Storm Terror 3. That's because I have to do it for my book. Next week I'll do Storm Terror 4. So, yeah. I'll go on and refill before I go in there. It's for my book, and I don't know if I do 4, if it's going to count for my book, and I don't want to do 4 this go, and then have to wait till next week to complete my book. Yep. Like, I don't want to wait for that. I already have to wait for a bunch of shit at AR-41. And anyone that says leveling up in this game is hard, no, it's not. Just my big advice on how to run this game is quite simple. When you start the game, go immediately to the town and get your adventure rate. Talk to the adventurer lady. Uh, get that out of the way. That's gonna help you a lot. And big tip on Storm Terror, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming close to you, and you gotta know, well, just throw that shield up, fuck that fucking bitch. Also, don't be too quickie about how you're fucking switching back and forth from character to character. While on his back, you can glitch through. But don't worry about that fucking thing, his little blast. Because you'll break it before he can break your Noel's armor as long as you've gone defensive build. Like Noel's supposed to be. Like all her shit is
I love
on...
how you are hammering that one in. That Noel is supposed to be built as a tank. And that's another thing that we kind of need to discuss. The fact that there are some people that are not understanding how characters are supposed to be built.
Like, it's just a simple ordeal.
I mean, I completely understand when it's I can understand that you can build the character up however you wish. That's perfectly fine and all that. But don't sit there and tell people that's supposed to be one way when you can clearly tell that it's supposed to be another. When you look at all their aspects, their talents, their constellations, everything, and you take in all the factories, what their bonus stat is after they ascend to a certain point, you gotta take all that into factoring. Like Diluc, you can build him up. However, he's one of the god DPS people in terms of melee, from what I hear, from what I've been hearing through Dark's search of YouTube videos, and his big thing is a crit rate. That's his bonus stat.
With Diluc, I kind of use him at... A lot of people are going to be like, you use him as what? Yes, I use Diluc as a support along with Mikey Queen and Fischl. I use them as...
That's completely plausible. It's possible.
Because I have his energy so up.
Now, just so people understand, the reason why I am not freaking out over this is because, one, I don't give a shit, and two, I'm the type of person that plays very unorthodox, and a lot of times I play the way I want it to be, even if it's not the meta or the min-max way or anything of that sort. I play Diluc to where he's basically a fucking, not a glass cannon, but I would say more of true to what a Berserker class would be. High risk, high reward type style. Sure, my health is going to be... I'm probably going to be the first one to fall, but I'm going to do a shit ton of damage in the process.
Well, as long as you know how to dodge, you shouldn't take that much damage.
Oh, I don't dodge. But the way I've got Diluc built, him taking damage does better. Especially with that, I think, yeah, with that Berserker set, the fourth set, once his health hits below 70%, he just gets a boost in either crit rate or attack damage or something along those lines. No, it's crit rate. So basically, not only having a predetermined good amount of crit rate already on him, but add another 36% crit rate. That's a in terms of crit rates on beginning startups. That's a high amount, especially with someone when you do his hold circle after doing his elemental burst, and you just decimate the field.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of complaints have been coming in about the drop rates. Honestly, I have no problem with the drop rates. All right, at my level,
I,
at 40, it's
I was
very generous.
I was going to say the from what you've been telling me and what I've mentioned before, the drop rates are very generous, and it's like, oh well, we want to be guaranteed this very specific item that we're working so hard to get. Ooh, you steamrolled the game, and now the game's actually putting up a blockage so you can't progress because you actually have to have chance on your side. You know, like a grindy game is going to have. Oh, boo hoo. They're taking away my guarantees. I hate this game now because it's a content wall.
Well,
No,
here's the
it's
thing. A bunch of
them doing.
people that are watching the stream are probably like, "You're using 4 stars to level up?" Yeah, I'm using a bunch of 4 stars to get the last little bit on my fucking 5 star, which is increasing Diluc's attack damage, and we'll see what random gets bonus.
By the
Because
way, the
I
only
get
thing I'm going to
extremely
say of
lucky.
there's only going to be one little mechanic. If there's going to be any mechanic that I'm going to explain to people, or kind of want to explain to people, I haven't actually gone through and actually looked if I'm 100% correct on this or not, and I'm sure somebody else already did the work for me, so you could probably find it somewhere else. But yes, it does matter what artifacts you use to infuse and level up an artifact.
Yeah.
It's very specific, and there's a very specific pattern or mechanic that you have to do if you want to get that times 2 XP bonus or the ever coveted 5 times. Because
Well,
nothing's more satisfying when you dump in a bunch of and it triggers a 5 times.
I will say that there is a YouTuber, and his name is. One sec. I was watching a bunch of memes. Majestic Multi Gaming. If you want to know about the numbers and how to get this out of this, he's the one to go to. He talks about how to get that bonus XP and all that out of your stuff to get the most out of what you're doing. Uh, there's a couple good YouTubers that actually talk about the game's good points. And I will go through these YouTubers so you might be able to go to them and get some actual information while yeah, don't listen to anything MTash says. You can love him all you want, but I couldn't stand him just by the first time I heard his voice. And when he was telling people lies about the game, it just kind of got on my nerves a lot more. But Matt Majestic Multi Gaming, he actually will show you a spreadsheet and show you how and why these mechanics work in this way. Damone Kim, he's been playing for 6 months. I think he was playing during the Chinese beta or the Chinese alpha, and he has a lot of experience on this kind of stuff. So if you want Damone Kim, he's the one to go to. I might actually go through and put their links down in the description just so, because I'm not going to get on here and do an everyday thing unless y'all want to donate some money, and then we can do some rolls and turn me into a whale. I'm not going to say no to that. Hell, if you want to go to Neko's channel and start throwing him money and be like, ooh, do a 10 roll, do a 10 roll, he's not going to turn you down. No YouTuber's going to.
I honestly would not. I honestly would not. I would find it interesting, and yeah, you'd actually see my face plastered up in the corner.
Unlike me, you're never going to see what I look like.
He's self-conscious.
You're self-conscious. But yeah, don't listen to MTash. He doesn't do any real background. He just goes off of emotion, and coming from a very light gaming experience. He's not used to the whole drop rates and all that.
Oh dear God! If that game had drop rates of actual classic MMOs, oh, these guys would shit themselves dead.
And honestly, this game is very generous. Like, the game devs are very generous. If you go to your mail, for instance, you'll see all the free primo gems that they give you. Like,
Basically, they give you like 3 or 4 10 rolls worth in total, if you add it all up. I think.
I would have to sit down and
And
actually
that
do
and
the
that's
math.
and that's counting like the stack of 10 fates that they give you. Like they give you 10 of one and 10 of another, and then in another mail thing they give you fucking 1,600 prima gems, and then they just keep on giving you more and more. So to an extent, about 4, maybe 5 in total of 10 rolls. That's generous for a start.
Also, they messed up on some damage outputs on 2 characters, Mona and Kickwing. Uh, they fucking give you 100 primo gems right there for each of those mistakes, and then later on they do some minor changes to Kickwing again and give you another 100. So they're paying you for their mistakes. They're not being greedy. They're not an EA, like some people have been trying to say. A lot of people have been trying to say, oh, we need to stop them here, otherwise they're going to be an EA. That's not how these things work, bud.
First off, they're not taking games that people like and turning them into garbage. They already own these games, and they already have a good pedigree of very popular, very fun mobile games to where that, yeah, they know what they're doing. And if you don't like it, you don't like the fact that these mechanics are not your forte, you're not used to them, tough.
Like,
Tough shit.
you didn't have to be here for the development of one of the most... Wait, I already got this. I'll take it. That's some more primo gems. And if you don't know, get up here and you'll get some primo gems on top of the fucking Storm Terrace Tower. 5 primo gems. And that's another thing. I saw one YouTuber complaining about, oh, they give you very little primo gems out of all these weird achievements and stuff.
Be thankful you're getting free Primogems, which means less money you actually have to spend. Sure, it's not a lot, but then again, you're not supposed to be trying to speed run through this shit by buying the gotchas all the time.
Well,
Play
here's
with what you
also a thing.
have.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, in my first week, I was able to get 11,500 primo gems. Yes, I did go and buy the Blessing of the Welkin Moon, because it's the best deal in the shop. Like, it's a very good and generous deal for what
I
you're getting.
mean, it gives you 300 gleam stuff or whatever, which it's just basically 300 Primogems. plus an extra 90 on that day, and then another 90 for 30 days. That's a 10 roll right there if you save it all up.
Yeah.
I
One
believe.
thing I would
Yeah.
advise not getting is the Wayfarer supply bundle. Not really worth.
I'm not I would say don't worry about getting any of those supply bundles cuz you're going to amount that shit. That shit's going to stack up in your inventory pretty quickly if you let it.
Yeah, if you let it. But so I've gotten 11.5 or 11,500 primo gems just from opening chests, completing challenges, and all that. There's no crying that 11, like, I think that's more than you get from 100, isn't it? Not counting the bonus, yeah. But like, people are getting on here and complaining. And I understand that some people see those complaints and they're going to be like, oh, this game must be bad. Give it a try. Yes, you're going to be grinding, but that's because it's still in development. Yes, the game might come down.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing. A big factor that people need to remember. You didn't have to put any money down to get this game. It's free. And people are bitching about a free game. There's more fleshed out than a lot of the free games that are around nowadays.
And yes, here's a point I want to say. To the one guy that said to me that, oh, we need to stop this before it spreads. We don't want them to be like EA. And could you imagine if EA actually developed this game?
If EA developed the game,
they wouldn't be giving out primo gems. And
my wallet would be dust.
And plus, on top of you're not getting free primo gems as much as you do. You would have to pay $60.
I was gonna say you'd be lucky to even have a chance of doing an event that might give you 5 for free.
And then you would have also had to pay $60 for the game.
Oh yeah. Plus, or 80 if you wanted the season pass.
Yeah. Now, because all these big YouTubers are complaining about the game drying up and shit, a lot of people are starting to think there's not a lot of content. There is
plenty of content.
There's a lot of content, as long as you don't get up to where I'm at. But you shouldn't be reaching where I'm at if you're playing the game right till the next update. If you're playing the game correctly, I was going to say, if you're playing the game correctly, you shouldn't be worried about getting to, and you're not at like adventure rank 50 or 40 or anything like that, you shouldn't even be worrying about that. Yeah, like, they expected the big YouTubers not to be getting to where they are until a week from now. Now, was that a underestimation? Maybe. It might have been an underestimation.
Not to mention the fact that a lot of them also probably did a lot of co-op stuff together, so they probably probably shouldn't have, but And I put it as the content's there. It's just that it's not that it's bad or gone or anything like that. It's the fact that I guess it would be correct to say that dry up would be kind of a correct term, as in the fact that oh boy, what am I going to do today? Like, I understand that, but even then, there's still plenty of stuff to do.
Well,
Especially with how many people just spend money on the resins anyway. So at this point, if they're gonna use their Prima Gems to refill their resin instead of waiting, hey, there's plenty of bosses you can sit there and go up against that aren't on the weekly rewards based bit.
well, here's my big cookie. Uh, so people are wanting to say, "Oh, I can't grind the boss because I don't have any resin." There's still the small bosses that you're gonna need to kill if you're wanting to set up your 8-man team for the Spiral Abyss, because the Spiral Abyss is gonna get larger. I can just go on and tell you that. As the levels get higher, the Abyss is gonna get larger. It's gonna go up higher. Also, remember, this game is still in development. It might not be called a beta or anything like that.
It's not anything so simple as to call it a beta or an alpha or anything, but it's far from complete. There's still a lot that they are planning on releasing. I mean, you only have access to 2 areas. There's still a whole nother, at the very least, 5 areas. At the least.
At the least, because technically,
and that's going based on the fact that each area is based on an element. And if what Dark's saying is true about a hidden 8th element, then that makes a total of 6 areas.
And I will say, I do have a theory that there will be an 8th area. I'll do a video on that discussion later, but let's just say, in the universe that Genshin Impact is based in. The bitch say what? No, there's a wind, statue thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is maxed. Okay. But, well, this is weird.
Not used to that stuff.
Well, we already know the trophies and everything, or the, treasures are respawning. But are these things respawning as well?
If they are, maybe they're increasing the amount you can get.
Maybe. But, yeah. If you go into the Genshin Impact universe, there is actually 8 nations. Now, the 8th nation might have been destroyed. All I know is its name, but I cannot pronounce that fucking shit to save my own life, so you can go shove it up your ass. Yeah. And it's an extra one, I guess. I don't know what to do about this. It's gonna take up space in my inventory. But, yeah. So, the universe in this game, there's actually 8 nations, not 7. Now, are they gonna put the 8th nation in here? Possibly. I mean, it's possible that it's the element of time, which is a concept that a theory that I've been trying to develop, but we'll have to see later on, because I'm not gonna go spoil myself by going and reading the books or playing the other Haka or Hika or whatever the other game is.
Honkai Third.
Yeah, that game
Honkai
is...
Third.
Fuck you. That game is actually the same universe as this. So, and we can take a lot of information from that and start compiling it, but I'm not going to go and do that. But I really wanted to sit down and talk about the problems that is facing this game, and it's not the game itself. It's the community. The community, the player base of nowadays have become so lazy. They don't want a challenge. They don't want to have to grind and all this. And you can see, I started 3 days late, 3 or 4 days late. I have not refilled every day. I've not welled out. And I'm still 41, level 41, halfway to 42.
And me, being a poor schmuck with a job, I started day 1.
Don't let him confuse you, he's lazy.
I only play a few hours a day of Genshin. I'm almost maybe a adventure rank 26. And that's just how I am when it comes to those type of games. I play it the way I want to. And yes, I was playing Mafia. So what? I platinumed that shit. Fuck you.
Bet you won't platinum this game.
What, Genshin?
Yeah.
I'm sure it ain't gonna be all that difficult to do.
You have to send your character and weapons to Ascension 6.
All in due time.
And then there's the hidden trophy, which you need a friend.
Again, all in time, and I have plenty of friends that would be more than willing to help. After all, I found a person to help me with the Elephant in the Tower trophy on Conan Exiles.
Wait, you have friends?
Yes, as much of a shock as it is, I have friends outside of the clan. As a matter of fact, those friends I do live streams with every now and again on my YouTube channel. If I decide to live stream with them instead of doing solo stuff. Usually a lot of drinking is involved as well. A lot of playing games drunk. Hell no, I got a better tolerance than what most people think they do.
That's what you think you do.
In fact, I can chug moonshine like nuttin', compared to some people who can't even stand the taste of moonshine.
Ew, you drink moonshine?
Yeah, sure, I love the taste of corn. I love corn so much, I like to drink it.
Now, one thing I'd advise everyone doing, if you're wanting to get into the game, go for the chest first. Grab every chest, because it takes about 6 weeks, 2 to 6 weeks for them to respawn. And it's random which ones respawn. So, if you're wanting to get the most out of your chest, the most XP, the most primo gems, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you want to go on and get all of them that you can. Like, I would wipe out the whole Mondstadt, and then when you go and you've wiped everything out, you got your statue to max, you grabbed all the chests that's on the interactive map that you've seen. Then go to the next area and do the same thing. Now I promise you, unless you sit down and do it hardcore, it's going to take you about a week or two.
Yeah. There is a method. It's basically, it's just that if you know how to do math of how much XP you're getting from things, you know where things are, and you know when they are going to be all guaranteed to be there, yes, you can definitely map out where you're going, how much XP you're going to get, and all that. That way, you can save all those quests that give you the decent sized amount of XP for later. Although I do suggest do a few of the story missions just so you know, unlock some areas and stuff to do to help with that grind.
Now, if you want to be a whale, you can be. I can't talk shit about whales on here because there's no PvP element. So they don't really have that much of advantage over me because we're not competing directly. Even though I get very competitive when it comes to grinding. But that's a different discussion. But, like, this is not a race. This was meant to be a fun game that you take your time playing. Now, could you rush through it in about a week or two? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You could fucking knock this shit out left, right, and center. Now, do you want to do that? No. Unless you're starting about a year from now, and then, yeah, you have plenty of fucking, plenty of shit to try to push through. If you started a year from now. But remember, there are a guaranteed 7 cities, 7 areas. The next area is supposed to be a Japanese lightning territory, and it's supposed to be bigger than the Chinese one. That's a lot of work. They're not going to get it out in the 1.1. I really doubt they will. They might try to, but I really doubt they're going to get that much put out. It's probably going to be the next update, which after 1.1, that'll be another 6 months or 6 weeks after the 11th. Now, that's way more generous. I've known games that go longer without updates.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't rush shit. Just be happy they released the game. People. Be happy they released the game as it is. Guaranteed the whole game's gonna go through, and they were not gonna go and run out of funds or anything. Because remember, this is an experiment. This is a gacha game of a different kind. This was a test to see if
an actual full-fledged gacha mobile game that was done right is going to survive on consoles. Because there are 2 other gacha games that exist on this as free-to-play games, and they didn't last long. And that's Crypt Tract and Caravan Stories. Mind you, I don't think Dark's tried Caravan Stories. That one is definitely more... Crypt Tract is basically the picture definition of mobile gacha game that everyone expects to see. Caravan Stories is a gacha game, but it is built like an MMO. It actually is built like an MMO, but the combat system is like that of Tales games, where you run into an enemy and then you're brought into a separate battle arena where you and 3 other characters on your team go and fight the monsters. And if your number's bigger than theirs, you're probably going to win. And it's fun to a point, then it just starts getting boring. So far, Genshin Impact, it's definitely done better. Now, I also know that I've been seeing people complaining, crying, and whining about one very important aspect. The fact that one mechanic in the game was ripped straight out of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Here's a little word for y'all. When the game first launched, the first thing I said was, oh, it's a free-to-play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Cool. That was my reaction. But it seems like everybody else's reaction immediately was, "Oh my god!" Look here, just because the mechanics are similar, if and so what if the mechanics are copied? So what?
There's
If it's
nothing original nowadays.
there's no originality, first off, and second, it's not like what you call it? It's not like Nintendo is cracking down on their door saying, "Hey, you took our stamina mechanic. We want the money." No, they're not doing any of that. It's a small mechanic in a game that they just went with, and just because the game just so happens to be very similar to Breath of the Wilds with its own stuff. It's got enough stuff in there to where it's its own thing. Yes, it has some stuff from there. But really, really, that's going to kill the game for you. It's not 100% original. Again, privileged little shits. Boo hoo.
Like, it's just how the game is. Like, I wouldn't say there is any game that is original. And if you can put a game in the comments that you think is original, me and Neko will sit down and tell you why it's not original.
What
Because
game? Oh, any game? Yeah.
any game. Because nothing is original. Music is not original anymore. Movies are not original. Games are not original. Books are not original. Everything has some reference
There's
somewhere
a, there's
previous.
everything is derived off of something. There's always going to be a derivative, regardless of how many people want it to be 100% guaranteed original.
Unless you go back to the Stone Age to the first fucking drawing on the wall.
Yeah, that's about the only. I was going to say, if you go back to full on originality of that aspect, then yeah, you're going to get your original stuff. Hell, no music is original. Why? Because they all are based off the concept of the original first time music was invented and the first musical notes were written down and turned into a sound that people could enjoy.
So, I know
That's where
this
all
has
music
been a
comes from.
long rambling, but like I said,
It,
you got Tectone here. You can go check out him. He's an awesome guy. He has a fucking addiction. He has a problem. Just point and blank. This motherfucker has spent $5,000 on the game, on Genshin Impact, and it's not the first game that he spent a shit ton of money on. But he's an awesome guy. He admits to his problem, and maybe we can get him some help one of these days.
by
Uh,
sending him money so it's not his that's going down the wallet. Ha 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 ha.
well, YouTubers already get to claim gotcha expenses as business
I,
expenses.
I'm just going to call this out right now. I still think that's about as bullshit as Brony's getting disability.
Yeah, no comment. Uh, Damone Kim, he is an awesome guy. You should definitely go check him out. What was the other guy that I said? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
You know who I
Matt
know? I know
Majestic
who.
Multigaming.
Yeah, I was going to say I know. I think we both know who you say not to.
Yeah, Yoda of Soda. Don't listen to him. He's just mad because he's hitting a wall which he's actually can't pay through. Well, he can pay through it a little bit, get an extra 1,500 XP a day, but that's not going to do him much in one day. He's going to have to do that multiple times a day. So.
And then, or the other guy that don't know his ass from the head hole in the ground.
Yeah, Imtash, he don't know what he's talking about.
At least from what you talk, at least from the way you talk and the information you give me on him, yeah.
But, like I said,
But
Tectone, Multi Gaming, and Damone Kim. Damone Kim does a bunch of streams, and Tectone is very fucking upfront about all his gotcha pullings, and he he's not the type of person who's going to get mad about the lack of content because he's just now starting to get to 40. And that's because he's been taking his time. He he understands what this game is supposed to be. It's supposed to take up like 2 or 4 hours a day at most
Mm-hmm.
of your time. It's a gotcha game. It's not meant to be full on. Let's go, boys. Let's grind this. This is not an MMORPG.
Yeah, too many people want to play the game away, and I will say probably the most hilarious excuse that players have is we should be allowed to play anytime we put in a game we should be able to play it the way we want to.
That's not how
Whatever
life
happened
is.
to that? Um, yeah, I put it as yeah, you know what? Stop. Because your privilege really is showing when it comes to games. Because let's not forget about back then when you didn't get any type of options as to, or ways of them to update the game to the way that you wanted it to be. They released the game and you had to play it. That was it. You had to enjoy that game.
But I might actually sit down and we'll do some streams and discuss problems and all that. That there are plenty of problems in the game, but the lack of content and all
The
that is not the problem.
it just seems like to me that the problems aren't really enough to really put an actual impact on the game's playability.
No. Now, if you want to
It's
rush through it, if you want to rush through the game, do it.
now if the entirety of the gameplay was equivalent to a campaign of Call of Duty, and then everything just stopped and they expected you to grind to like super high level just to be able to access the next area that they release,
Well,
that would be a complaint.
here's a complaint that some one YouTuber was making earlier. He said people are quitting after 25 hours of gameplay.
20 hours is actually a pretty standard amount of gameplay time, especially when starting out in like a mobile game.
Well, 25 hours. But
But I'm saying the normal base is 20.
unless you go to EA and then that's fucking 4 hours.
Well, well, that'll start my conversation on the problem with first person shooters nowadays in general. But I won't get into that because that'll be too much time.
We don't have that amount of time.
I don't have that amount of time because
Now,
I
let
have to go to sleep at some point.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, just remember this: if you want to rush through it, all right, be like me. Rush through it. At 41, I feel achieved because right. I'm right up there with all the big YouTubers. I'm at 41. That, in my opinion, me keeping up with all these motherfuckers that are refilling every day means I've done something right and they've done something wrong. It tells me that I can keep up with them even with them spending loads of money. If you want to be like that, okay. Perfectly fine. You can rush to where there's no content and it's all dried up. But don't come onto uh, sharing
Don't sit
your.
there. If you're gonna do that, don't bitch about it.
Yeah. I have no problem waiting for more content. It's perfectly natural for a game like this that is still being developed to have dry
Honestly,
spots.
honestly, if it's not really all that dry, because what is it that's left to do that people are complaining about? The exact thing that you're going to be doing anyways once that content comes out. Grinding to get the gear sets that you want, the gear that you want, and getting it leveled up to being powerful. But even at that point, at that point, though, if you're complaining about content walls and all that, and you don't like the fact that people might be pointing out that you're kind of steamrolling through the game, hey, you could always just take a break. Stop and
Or be
save that
like,
grind for after the content is released.
or be like me and nah, fuck it, I'm gonna grind all the way to the fucking new content. And then, here's the thing about that. You might not have anything to do between now and then, but you can help other people. You could
Oh
go
well,
and not
well if they
steal
don't have
people's
anything,
resource. Don't steal other people's resources. There's plenty of resources as is. Yes, if they say you can,
and
like take an exchange ordeal, helping them, take a little bit. But don't go and wipe out their entire thing. They'll need that.
oh, there are gonna be people that will be more than ready to fuck over a newbie just that they're helping just because.
And those
Fuck
are,
you! I'm big. I'm big gamer. I need this more than you.
and that comes back to the problem of community is the issue. The players themselves are the issues. It's that's just how it is. Like there's nothing I can tell you that's gonna probably change your mind. There's a few YouTubers out there that probably agree with me wholeheartedly. Now, should we be able to fix this? Yeah, we can fix it. Is it going to take some work?
We can Bob the Builder this shit.
Now, like, there might be a way to fix it more, but it just comes down to the issue of people are too lazy and willing to complain about anything. Be willing to help other players. As you can see on my fucking information, need help? Just ask. That's my signature. Anyone on my friends list or anyone, they can just ask me for help. And like a boss, a lot of people have been asking for help on the water boss, the Oshalid or whatever. I'll just
Ocean
jump in
and
there. Yeah, I'll jump in there and fucking kill it, and I won't collect because I don't need those kind of low tier artifacts, but I'll be perfectly willing to help them beat it. I don't need anything like that out of it. Sometimes I'll fucking do it for free. Yes, I do sometimes ask for like 5 or 10 lamp grass in return, but that's about it. So, I'll leave y'all with that. Eh, it's just stupid when I see people complaining about what it comes down to. But I'm going to end this here before I keep on going.